Arnie sat on a bench and removed his shoes. "Forget all you've heard about the sauna," he said, "because I suspect a lot of it is nonsense." From Caskey Stint's book, Grand and Private Pleasures.
Hi, this is Julie. Welcome to the Sauna Trail podcast, where we tell the story of how our family discovered the world of Finnish sauna and share our adventures about the places we've visited, the people we've met, and the saunas we've used. You might be wondering, why would anyone do a podcast dedicated to something as commonplace as sauna? It's like doing a podcast on socks or pencils or celery. Well, if you stick around, you might find out that there's more to sauna than meets the eye. This episode marks the beginning of our trail. We'll share what we originally thought about sauna and how we first got into Finnish sauna. Then, at the end of the episode, we'll have some practical steps that you can take to start your own journey on the sauna trail. We'd like to begin by introducing ourselves. So, why don't you guys say your name, what grade you're in, and what your favorite video game is. I'll go first. Again, my name is Julie. I'm the mom, and I'm in 22nd grade. My favorite video game is all types of tower defense games.
My name is Daniel. I'm in 6th grade, and my favorite video game is Minecraft.
My name is Hudson. I'm in 8th grade, and my favorite video game is also Minecraft.
My name is Nala. I'm in 10th grade, and my favorite video game is Grim Fandango, which is an adventure game set in the Mexican land of the dead.
My name is Becca. I'm in 11th grade, and my favorite video game is Space Quest 1, which is an old space-themed adventure game.
And my name is Christopher, or Risto. I'm the Pops, and I probably have a kindergartner's mentality. And my favorite video games are Space Quest 1 and Grim Fandango. Where do you think the kids learned about them from?
Well, before we continue, I want to make a disclaimer. This episode takes place in April of 2015, when we knew of saunas, not saunas. So at this time, my younger brother, Anthony, was living in Madison, Wisconsin, and he invited our family to visit him for Easter. My parents, my older brother, my grandma, and then our family here of 6 agreed to go. So Christopher and I were tasked with finding a place to stay in Madison. For some reason, Christopher wanted a place with a sauna. I did not care for saunas, but I agreed to let him look for one. You know, I knew that gyms had saunas and some hotels had saunas, but they were just kind of like dingy or like dark, hot. They were uncomfortable. I didn't like them. So I just thought they were overall just very unpleasant. What did the rest of you guys think about them?
I was like 3 years old. I have no recollection of sauna. I only remember sauna.
I don't really remember what I thought of it.
I remember liking them because it was a nice warm place to go after swimming, but I didn't really think much about them.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with Nala. I liked it because it was warm, but we would go in there to get dressed after swimming and warm up, and then I wanted to get out and do something else. It was just dark, and yeah, there was nothing there for me.
What saunas had you girls used?
I think the only one I remember using was at an apartment that we went to go swimming, but I think that's about it.
Yeah, there was one, our mom's aunt at her condo, she had a swimming pool, and so we would use that one after swimming, and then we had swimming lessons for a while, and they had one there, and so we would use that as well.
Well, and we didn't even really use it. You just basically changed from your swimming suit into your clothes.
Right. Our idea of using a sauna was just changing. Yeah.
And for me, Risto, I liked them. I had used them at hotels. I don't think I'd ever used one at a gym. I liked the cedar environment and the warm air. So every now and again, if we were at a hotel, I would ask Julie, "Hey, do you wanna go try the sauna with me?" You know.
I'd be like, no, I'll stay and watch TV. So anyway, Christopher did find a vacation rental in Madison that had a sauna. So off we went to Madison. And one of the evenings after the kids went down to bed, Christopher was like, "Hey, do you want to go use the sauna?" I was like, "Sure, why not?" So it was attached to the rental owner's personal residence, which was about a country block away from where our rental was. So the owners had mentioned that there were 2 empty milk jugs that we could fill with water from their kitchen sink. And we were like, well, that's kind of weird. So I went and I filled up the jugs with water and I stuck them under the bench while Christopher heated up the sauna, and we just left them there. And I think we had a discussion about maybe it's there to humidify the air because it's so dry. And then we just sat and we talked for a while and we started sweating. What do you think the temperature was in there?
Oh, well, it was a kind of a standard small 2-person electric sauna. Which just had the dials that you turn it to maybe on and off. I don't even remember a temperature setting. And the bench was pretty low. So, maybe it was 130, 140 at the most. It can't have been very hot.
Yeah, we sat in there for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe like a half hour or something. I don't know, maybe longer.
I think even longer.
Oh, okay.
Probably like 45 minutes.
We sat there, maybe, yeah. So like with 45 minutes, we were sweating. It was starting to get uncomfortable. And we decided to head back and get ready for bed. Remember, this was April in Wisconsin, so it was pretty cold out. And I think we were both like, oh, we got to brace ourselves for this cold air. So we opened the door, which actually opened to the outside. We opened the door and we started like walking back to the rental, but we were walking pretty fast. Like we were like, oh, it's going to be cold. It's going to be cold. But then as we kept walking, I think we both realized how good the cool air felt.
Yeah, I expected a shock, between the hot and the cold, that the cold would feel even colder. We're just in our swimsuits walking out, in the air, but it felt refreshing, and the moon is shining down and we're walking back, and it's like, I feel pretty good.
Yeah, and it was a country road, so there was no cars driving on the road. It was really quiet, peaceful. I felt like I had just left high school volleyball practice, walked out of the building into the cool, crisp air. Like that's what I felt like. I had just had a good workout and I was feeling really good. So then we got back to the rental, and as I was falling asleep in bed, Christopher was doing a Google search about sauna.
Yeah, I tend to geek out on stuff. I'm curious. I want to know where words come from or different practices come from. And so I just Googled, I was just a thought popped into my head. Where is sauna from? So Julie's getting ready for bed. She's headed to bed. And I was like, hey, hon, sauna comes from Finland.
And I'm like, where's Finland?
And it's actually pronounced sauna.
That's weird.
And you are supposed to put water on the rocks.
On the electrical unit?
Yeah, I'd always seen the sign said, don't put water on the rocks. So that's like the one thing I knew about saunas. But But the Finnish sauna, you are supposed to put water on the rocks.
Oh, that's what those jugs were for.
And there's even some that are heated with wood-burning stoves.
Wow, that is fascinating.
And so we had been talking about having a weekend getaway, just the two of us. And so I proposed to Julie. I was like, what would you think about us trying to find one of these Finnish saunas that have wood-burning stoves and see what it's like?
And I really liked that idea. You know, our marriage was in kind of a rough place. We'd been married for 10 years at this point. We'd had kind of some more difficult times. Christopher and I, when we get into fights or when we disagree, we don't yell and fight. We like check out. And so our marriage was kind of like in a Cold War where we looked like we were at peace with each other, but it was kind of hostile at times. So I thought a weekend getaway would be a good idea to kind of get things back on track while learning about sauna. Well, getting back to our Madison trip, the next day we decided to go use the sauna again and invited the kids to see if any of them wanted to come. But the only one that wanted to come was Nala. So Nala, what did you think? What did you remember about that time?
I remember being very cold on the walk there. So when I first got into the sauna, it was nice and warm, but for me it was like really, really hot. So I remember Daddy told me to put a towel over me. So I just like curled up on the bench under a towel and like fell asleep pretty much.
Yeah, I do remember that. We're sitting in the sauna. I'll call that one a sauna because we didn't put any water on the rocks. We didn't
That's
really
true.
know how to use it. But for now on, our subsequent ones we'll call saunas because they are saunas. But I remember just you being buried in a towel as we just sat there.
In the maybe 140-degree sauna for probably another half hour. We didn't do rounds. We just did it one time, sweaty, hot, and then we left. And that was it. That's all that we did. When the weekend was over, we all went back to our normal lives, except Christopher kept doing his research.
Yeah. So I was fascinated that there was so much to this sauna thing that I didn't know about, that I wouldn't have guessed existed. So it was down the rabbit trail of research for me, researching to find a place to go to, which is always fun to find an interesting new place to go to. And then also just learning about this Finnish practice. And I think I watched a bunch of YouTube videos, read what I could find online, probably sent some emails and texts to families of, hey, did you know about this crazy Finnish sauna practice, and that you put water on the rocks and it can get up to 200 degrees, and they would hit each other with branches, and it was like this whole crazy world that was just starting to open to me.
Yeah, and then I think the rest of us just kind of went along with the ride. I was fascinated, but I wasn't quite as interested in the research. But he would be like, hey, come watch this video, or hey, check this out. Like, hey, I think we need to what's this book? Let's see if we can, So it was fun to kind of be with him while he did the work, and then I just got to see what he found that was interesting and cool.
Yeah, and so what I would like to do is, for any of our listeners that are perhaps wired the way that I am to get really geeky about stuff, I'd like to share with you some of those early resources that I found so that you can look into them yourself and start to learn about Finnish sauna. So here's some suggestions to get you started. If I could only recommend one resource, it would be Bernard Hilla's book, The Sauna Is. It's short and easy to read, but still profoundly deep. Hillel was a poet a pastor, an educator, and a slackliner. He's an interesting guy. He wore many hats, which is why he was probably able to distill sauna into such a concise package. Another excellent read is the coffee table style book, The Opposite of Cold, which is filled with amazing photography from Aaron Hautala, and it's well-researched and written text by the author Michael Nordskog, and describes the history and practice of Finnish sauna in North America, and even some saunas in Finland. There are also a few videos on YouTube that are worth checking out. YLE is the Finnish public broadcasting company, think of like BBC, and they released an excellent hour-long documentary about Finnish sauna called The Truth About Sauna, The Truth About Finns. It's fun, it's quirky, and a great introduction for newbies. And probably my favorite video on YouTube is called Heating the Smoke Sauna, which demonstrates the process of heating the ancient and traditional savu sauna, which is the Finnish word for smoke sauna. The video also shows how to make a birch vasta, which is a bundle of small branches used to clean and exfoliate the skin, and they also smell great. The soundtrack for that video is Uno Klami's, sorry if I butchered his name's pronunciation, wonderful pastoral song called The Sprout of Spring from his Kalevala Symphonic Suite. So I highly recommend that video for the content and the music. We have links to these in the show notes, and I've created a PDF with even more book and video resources that you can check out over on our locals page, thesaunatrail.locals.com. And one quick word of warning, there is quite a bit of nakedness in the books and videos. That may shock most Americans, but keep in mind that sauna is not a sexual thing for Finns. Historically, it's their bath.
Yeah, so I got to be able to kind of go along for the ride when he discovered these really great resources. So as we kind of wrap up, we'll give you a sneak peek into what is coming ahead. We'll each share our favorite sauna and our favorite thing about the sauna trail. So I'll start. Mine is Turtle Hollow, and my favorite part about this whole thing has been adventuring as a family.
And my favorite sauna is also Turtle Hollow, which is was at a rental in southwest Wisconsin that I believe we'll be talking about in episode 4. So stay tuned. A couple episodes later, we'll really get into introducing that sauna to you. And my favorite thing is sharing sauna with new people, teaching them what it is, and traveling up in the UP.
My favorite sauna is Camp Lottie, and my favorite thing on the sauna trail is playing in Lake Superior.
My favorite sauna is also Camp Lottie, and my favorite thing is eating pasties.
My favorite sauna is a sauna at a rental called Simply Superior. My favorite thing that we've discovered on the sauna trail is probably the beauty of Lake Superior.
And my favorite sauna is Skoog Camp. And my favorite thing is probably fall drives in the Keweenaw Peninsula. Thank you for joining us. In the next episode, my parents will share the story about their first wood-burning sauna experience on the sauna trail in northern Wisconsin on a weekend getaway, where they discovered that they don't know how to light or tend to a sauna fire. They'll also reveal their favorite smoked fish shop. Just as a reminder, you can find the snazzy PDF my dad made on our locals community. It's free to sign up, you'll get regular updates from us, and if you like to support this podcast, Locals has that option as well. It helps offset the cost of podcast equipment and pasties. Again, the link is thesaunatrail.locals.com. Our podcast can be found on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and other streaming platforms, as well as our website, thesaunatrail.com. New episodes release every Saturday, which is the traditional Finnish day for sauna, also called Sauna Päivä. We hope to see y'all on the Sauna Trail.